being here. If you can just drop all that information, your business name, your name, email address, 5 words that describe your business. I'm going to collect everybody's that has registered for tonight, and then I'll share everyone's information later so that you guys can connect as well because our world can be small and we get to connect with lots of people. So, okay, I am going to just get started. Here we go. So tonight we're talking about the power of delegation. We want to finish 2024 strong and start 2025 stronger. So I'm Brianne. Like I said, I am a former elementary and preschool teacher. Daria knows wearing multiple hats during the day is exactly what I do. I am a remote assistant. I had 3 clients. I currently have 1 client, but just kind of keep my feet wet and in the assistant game. As of 2023, I was loving being an assistant and wanted to teach other people how to be an assistant. And so I jumped into this coaching and connecting role with US-based remote assistant slash Canada. Thank you, Jody. Oh, and I did not introduce my lovely Jody. She is in Canada. She is an amazing remote assistant as well. And because our world can be so small with technology, assistants can be all over. I technically work mostly with the US, but that's where we're at. So, anyway, I coach and connect remote assistants to business owners. And the whole point is to help with delegation. That is what we are going to be talking about tonight. Tonight's agenda is we're going to talk about what is delegation, what should you and should you not delegate. We'll have some brainstorming and guided exercise. So I would encourage, if you're watching the replay, to make sure that you get a pen and paper out, because as a former teacher, it is important to me that you have tangible takeaways. So we're going to do that. We're going to talk about where to even begin, especially in 2024, before we even get to 2025. So, how do we start now? What is technology's role in delegation? And then we'll have some question and answer time. So, if you are watching the replay as well and have questions, we'll follow up with an email to be able to collect those questions and get them answered. Okay, what is delegation? So, delegation, I found this definition in the dictionary, and it is the act of entrusting a task or responsibility to another person. It involves transferring authority and accountability for a specific job or duty. And what I found really interesting is that the word entrusting is in the definition of delegation. And I find that delegating something is scary. I've worked with lots of owners over this past year, and the first thing that I do is help them understand that we're here to help your business grow, but delegation really does take an act of trust. You need to trust me as the person that's helping connect you to an assistant, and you also need to trust that the assistant is going to take care of your small business the same way that you would take care of your small business. So that's on the forefront of our minds as you are delegating. There are some benefits to it, even though it sounds very scary and quite daunting. But the benefits are increased productivity because you're not doing all the things, reduced stress because we're all stressed. And if we can just take one little thing off someone's plate, a business owner's plate, then we've been successful. The other one is improved focus. And we'll talk a little bit more about what it means to work on your business rather than just in your business. And that is a super big part of what I do. So that's like the big picture. What is delegation? I did forget to mention anybody that's on right now and anyone in replays, please write down your questions. I am a very open book. I will share anything and everything that I can to help others. So no question is off limits. Okay. So there are things that we should be delegating, and there's definitely things that we should not be delegating. And it's important to make that distinction. So, what are some things that we should be delegating? On this left side, you're going to see things like time-consuming tasks. What's really interesting as I talk with, and Jody can attest to this, but when I talk to business owners and they're like, man, it takes me 3 hours to upload my update to GMB or Google My Business. And then Jody and I are over here like, please let us do it. It doesn't take us as long. But that's because that's our specialty. That's where we love to live. Um, and so what are your time consuming tasks? That's like a great list to start with is just writing down all the tasks you have and then putting times to it. And how long is it taking you? Because that is bogging you down. Okay. The next one is really interesting. There's an article in Forbes, and Jody's going to drop the link to this, but there's a big difference between what's important for your business and what is urgent for your business. There's a Eisenhower matrix that we're going to talk about in a minute. But Forbes did a whole article. You can read it later. It's pretty in depth, but it's talking about what tasks should we really be focusing on that are actually important right now versus how do we delegate things that aren't as important but are still urgent, and how do we make that differentiation. So we'll talk about that in a minute, so put a pin in it. But the other thing that we should be delegating are things that don't require our expertise. So this one's kind of interesting because I used to work for a physical therapist. She was actually a pelvic floor physical therapist. I knew nothing about a pelvic floor other than I've had babies. So there is a big, big difference in what requires your expertise. And I was still writing newsletters for this pelvic floor physical therapist, even though I didn't know the actual part of being a physical therapist. But that's because she was the one that was writing the content. And I was just the one that was pulling it together, making it look nice. So there are still things that you can delegate that don't require your expertise. So for those that are jumping on, hello, thank you for being here. We are just going to quickly run through what is delegation, how do we delegate. I will send this replay later, so please feel free to watch it later. Jody's putting a bunch of links in the chat, but I will send those in an email as well. So the left side is all the things that like we should be delegating. Now, the right side are things that we should not be delegating. And I think that's important to talk about that there are things that we should not be delegating. Some of those things are what require your unique skill set or knowledge. Again, I'm not a physical therapist. I wasn't about to go treat people for physical therapy, but that would be her job. So, still owning the things in your business that do require you to be hands-on with. So being on aware of those things. The other thing is sensitive or confidential tasks. Daria can attest to this with being counseling. There's obviously things that are going to be sensitive. What's great is that there are ways for an assistant to be HIPAA compliant and to be confidentiality compliant, but obviously even within that, you want to be cognizant of what you're delegating. And then the other thing that is interesting that you shouldn't delegate are essential to your business's core mission. So something that we talked about a little bit earlier is what are some of the things that we're working that need to be on our business? So this is like the big picture, forward thinking, future. How are you working your business so that it is going to expand, it is going to grow, or that it's just sustainable? And so those are the tasks that you are going to need to still have your hands in. So working on your business is very different than working in your business, where it's like the behind the scenes tasks and the things that don't require that essential business core mission. So those are just some of the shoulds and shouldn'ts. The next part that we kind of just touched on was the important versus urgent. And I found this chart to be very interesting and helpful. So this is Eisenhower's decision matrix. Goodness gracious. Um, and Jody is going to drop a link for this picture. I'll also include it in the email, but this is really pulling out those tasks, and it is going to take some intentionality to look at every task that's in your business and evaluate it with this matrix. We're looking at the vertical side is not important and important. At the top, we have urgent and not urgent. And then what I really love are the way that it's labeled within the boxes of the tasks that you do need to do are important and urgent. So you should do those and get them done. The not urgent, yeah, but are still important. Those are kind of the things that we just talked about, where those are the things that you still need to have your hands in. Maybe they're about your mission of your business, maybe they're confidential. For whatever reason, they're important, not quite as urgent. So those are things that we're going to get on the schedule. We're going to make sure we have a deadline for them, but they're not going to necessarily happen and take up our brain space in this moment. The other things that are urgent but not important. So I really like the way that they state this, that this is the delegation square. These are the tasks that still need to get done, but they don't necessarily require you to do them personally. Now, I say all of this with the most love in my heart because I am a perfectionist. And I like to hold really tight to control. And I don't love to delegate all the time, but I have to, or else I will go insane. So, this is the part where you have to really be honest with yourself. Is this something that I have to do personally? Or is this something that I can let my hands open, let go of it, and have somebody else help me with? Because it is urgent. It is something that needs to happen, but it's not important in terms of it doesn't have to be me that does it. Now, that is a hard thing to swallow. So, think about it. Now, the other square that I really love is this last one that's not important and not urgent. And guess what you get to do? You get to delete it. Yay. So, actually taking tasks off your plate that don't add benefit or value to your business and they're distracting you from your goals. So, it is not easy, especially when you're in business and you're just going and you're doing all the things, to take a step back and really look at how do I delete things that I'm doing that I don't need to be doing. This is really a great time of the year to do that because if we can clean our slate a little bit, end of 2024, beginning of 25, we can walk into 2025 a little bit less cluttered. So that's my encouragement to you. So this is one way to go through every task that you have and really evaluate where you're at with your business based on these squares. The other resource I'm going to share with you is called the Delegation Worksheet. It's something that I created. Jody again is going to put it in the chat. Thank you, Jody. I'm going to walk through three of the big pieces of this worksheet. So it's an actual worksheet. It's very much where my like teacher background comes from. Love a good worksheet, love a good handout. So at the top, you're gonna see there's a couple extra things that I didn't put on like this slide. So definitely take a look at it. But one of the first things that you're gonna do is you're gonna list out what do you love about your business and what do you hate about your business? And it's okay to say those things. I'm giving you full permission to say, what do you hate about your business? Notice there is not a bazillion lines, and bazillion is a number. There is not a bazillion lines on this worksheet. And there's a reason for that. It's because you don't want to get so bogged down with writing all the things that you really hate or that you really love. Narrow it down, write the first things that come to mind. What do you love? What do you hate? That's it. Simple as that. Now this next box, the number 2 box, this is where you're gonna write, it's like a flow chart on the big sheet of paper. In each of those boxes, write the big tasks that you do from the start of when you're looking for a lead or looking for a client all the way to like selling the client or like whatever your finish line is. And it doesn't, there's always a grow and all the things, but for today's sake, there's a start, there's a finish. So, right in those like in the arrow sections, right? Like the tasks that you're doing. And then under each task, here I can show you up here. Under each task, there's this love section and then this hate. Go ahead and circle if it's love, like I love that task, please don't take it away from me. Or is it a hate, like I really don't love that task, please take it away from me. And then what is really interesting to look at is how much, just putting a number, don't think about it too much, but how much are you willing to pay somebody else to do it? Now compare that with how much you are worth hourly. And if there's a profit in it, then run with it. So, for example, I don't love social media. I just don't, I'm not very good at it for my own sake. I do it for my clients all day, every day. Love it. So fun. Hate it when it comes to my own business. So I've hired out for it. But that was something that I had to really look at. So I put posting for social media. I really don't like it. So I circled hate. I would pay somebody $25 an hour. Now, my hourly rate is about $50 an hour. That's a $25 profit for me if I'm not doing it and I'm doing something else that is bringing in profit. Looking at it that way really helped me be like, okay, not something I love, not necessarily something that in that matrix was a I need to do it or I need to schedule it, and I delegated it. Okay, so that was a quick example. Now, the last part of this sheet is 3 tasks. So we went through a whole lot of information on this sheet. I want you to be able to narrow it down, and you'll have to do this later when you can print it or write on it in a PDF, whatever, or just throw it away, either way. But on this worksheet, it gives you 3 tangible tasks that you can go ahead and delegate right now, things that you can do right now. So that can be things that you're going to do, that can be things that you're going to schedule out, that can be something that you're going to delegate to somebody else or technology, which we'll talk about, or it's something that you're actually going to delete from your task list. By combining the Eisenhower decision matrix and this delegation worksheet, we're going to actually have some tangible things to do. Okay, now it's your turn. I've talked a lot at you, and that's a lot. So Jody is going to go ahead and put these questions in the chat. There's 3 really quick questions. Take your pen and paper, write this on your computer, however you want to do this. But, and that for everyone listening to the replay, I super encourage you to not only do this, but pause and do this even further. So you're going to write down, the first thing you're going to write down is what do you love about your business? 3 bullet points, ready, go. What do you hate about your business? 3 bullet points, ready, go. And then what's taking too much time and too much energy? I'm going to give everyone like a minute. It's not very long. Nancy, I don't think that's the right timing for homework for people, but that's what we're going to do. So I would love to shut up for a minute, and I want to give you some time to think about your business. What do you love doing? What do you absolutely hate? What's taking too much time and energy? I'm going to drink water so I don't continue to sound terrible. More seconds. What comes to the top of your head? Don't overthink it, because I know we all do, and that's not helpful. I know that was super fast. Jody, is there anything in the chat, or is there anyone else that wants to share maybe one insight, whether it's a love, hate, or spending too much energy? I know it's a small group. That's okay.
So I'm gonna drop a couple of good things in the chat. Do you want to just unmute and talk about it?
Thanks, Daria.
Yeah. So I built my business 10 years ago and it just kind of like goes. And
Mhm.
I work way too much. I work
Yep.
Monday through Saturday, 9 to 7. Oftentimes I'm leaving here about 8:30 or 9 by the time I get all my paperwork done. All of that is really like on me. I pretty
Yeah.
much have to do it because I'm counseling people, I'm writing their notes, they're all HIPAA compliant. I have to
Yeah.
write a treatment plan. I hate that. I've got a
Mhm.
little format and I just tweak it, but it takes me forever to like finish it and do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but where I would need a virtual assistant is I am, and I've been thinking about this for 3 years and I know how to do it. I just don't have time to
Nope.
expand my business to group coaching online.
Yeah.
And so a huge piece of that is social media posts, and I'll start for like 7 days, but I've never gotten to 30 days.
Yep.
I can do lives, I'm fine, but I
Yeah.
need those stupid little posts that just require, like that
Consistency.
constant attention.
Yeah, totally.
Yep.
Well, same, same. I hired somebody for my social media, so I feel that. I totally understand. No, that's amazing. I love that. Thank you for sharing.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Nancy, do you want to share? Not calling you out.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I wrote it down. I didn't put it in
Yeah.
the chat, but two things I love about the business. I love helping people. That's the teacher in me. I think we understand that, Bree.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, and watching people develop their dreams. Because a
Mm,
lot of times I'll work with small business owners,
hmm.
and they have a great idea, the business itself, but when it comes to the legal issues, that's a whole nother ball game.
It's true.
So yeah, it's just huge. And if there's client after client not doing a payment, that's will put you out of business real quick.
Hmm.
So from that perspective, just helping people develop the dream and have that come true. The other one is just making a difference,
Hmm.
giving giving families as well as small business owners that peace of mind that I'm not hanging out in the wind by myself. I
Hmm.
have an entire law firm
Hmm.
that I can call up and ask advice on. So making that difference of like giving people a peace of mind. So that's what I love. Those are the three.
Yeah.
Um, ugh, God, the part I hate the most is where the power button is on the technology.
Yeah.
And again, apologize for being late.
Oh, you're
Um,
good.
Um, the other thing that, I mean, I don't mind doing it, but it's very time consuming. And by the time I figure out calendars and get everything synced up, I mean, I, it's very
Yep.
time consuming. So
Yep.
having somebody else set the appointments. And the other thing is, the follow-up emails.
Hmm.
I mean, I can talk all day long face to face,
Hmm.
but usually when you put me in front of a computer, I go mute.
I don't know. That's
So,
okay. I
yeah.
love it.
So,
Yeah, no, that
yeah,
makes sense. Thank
yeah,
you. Yeah,
yeah.
thanks for sharing. The business owners that are going to be listening later, they need to know that they're not alone in emailing and social media and scheduling and all the things that it does. It takes valuable time that you guys both give so much that you do need some time to for back for yourself. So that's my encouragement. The thing that we're going to talk about is based on that is starting small, and that's okay. Again, my mission with this webinar and sharing it with other business owners is that we're going to start small. Let's figure out one or two things that we can delegate in 2024. If that includes an assistant, awesome, let's talk. But even if that includes deleting things, if that includes scheduling it out, but doing the things that need to get done now, that's important. Let's finish 2024 strong. And then let's move into 2025 where we are taking off things from our plate. So that's what we're going to do. To do that, we're going to do it small. We're going to take big, big tasks because running a business is a lot. We're going to take those really big tasks and we're going to make them smaller. We're going to make them more manageable. We're going to break it down into task lists that are super small. And then we're going to see what we can take off, what we can delete, what we can do right now. We're going to identify potential tasks to delegate to a remote assistant. So if that is something that you're interested in, the way that I do it with Mills and May services is it can be anything from 10 hours a month to 30 hours a week. So that's 2 hours a week to 30 hours a week. I do that because I know small businesses, we don't have big, crazy budgets for marketing and social media and admin and phone people and all the things. Like, that's not possible. And so my goal is to bring together business owners with assistants that love doing that kind of stuff, and I'm the one that gets to puzzle piece and pad assistant schedules so that they are being fulfilled in their dreams and their incomes, but that's not all on the business owner. So that's a little plug, but that is definitely my goal in all of this. Then the other thing that I want us to do is to evaluate each task in your business for its purpose. Now, there are a couple different ways that I wanted to word this part, and some of it was like, is it important? Is it urgent? But I think a lot of the things we miss, especially like Daria said, when you've been in a business for a lot of years, like you miss the purpose of why you're doing certain things. And so if we can take a step back, evaluate what we're doing, is it important and is it urgent? But then also, is there purpose behind what we're doing? And being really intentional about that. So I know that takes effort. I know that's really hard to do at the end of a really long day. But if we can carve out some time, I think that that's going to help us really expand in 2025. Okay. The last kind of thing that I want to just super quick touch on is how do we use technology for delegation? So, like I said, remote assistants are awesome for like literally anything you need, and plug them all day long. But there is a way that we can also use technology and an assistant, and it can be our friend. One of the ways, and I was going to show a video, but it's complicated and I don't understand the technology to get it to work properly. So that's where I'm at. But one of the really cool things that I'm doing is I'm partnering with Blue Hawk Digital. Her name is Tina. But what she does is she has a platform that's an all-purpose platform for CRMs, which if you don't know what a CRM is, it's just to manage all your people and remind you when to follow up with different clients that you have. It has a way to add to your website so that you're actually talking to people, like the AI is talking to people that are coming to your website so that you're not missing out on leads. It's phone call answering services that then an assistant can even jump onto and jump into mid conversation to really bring that personal aspect. So yeah, it's like a million different tools, and that's what it is. It's a tool. And so I would encourage you if you are interested in some of that behind the scenes technology aspect. Again, Tina and I are partnering together to help provide business owners with that said platform plus an assistant. And both of us are willing to figure out a plan that actually works for you and your budget. Because again, none of us are millionaires right now. Well, unless you are, and then we need to talk. But otherwise, that's where we're at. We want to help support small businesses. So, Blue Hawk Digital, Tina Watkins is her name. We are going to move into a Q&A session. Now it's only two of us, so Jody, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I do want to make sure to address as well, if you're watching the replay and questions have come up, please just email me, text me, call me. I would love to chat with you. I do free initial consultations for any assistant or business owner, since I do work both sides. I'm willing to answer anything and everything that I can. Does anyone on here want to ask a question? Otherwise, we can keep moving. Nancy, you unmuted yourself.
Well,
But
I was just gonna put out there, I mean, again, I told myself I'd rather work with somebody face to face versus
yeah,
virtual. And that is available because I know Bree, we've talked about different times.
yes,
It's been
thank
a
you.
while, so I don't know if
No,
things have
yeah.
shifted or whatever. Okay, perfect.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. So there is, because I'm Denver based, there's a big majority of the assistants that I have in my pool that are also Denver based, but then I have assistants all over the US as
Right.
well. So really what I look at is, yes, if you would like a hybrid or a local option, totally happens. I actually just talked to some real estate agents today that need someone a little bit more hybrid, so we're getting her hooked up. But yeah, and then business owner wise, I also do work. Thank you, Nancy, because I do work all over the nation as well. We can chat about any business anywhere, any assistant anywhere. I will give a shout out again to Jody. She actually lives in Canada, but she's amazing and we love her and we are so appreciative that she's here tonight. She's one of the assistants that is looking for work and that is part of the pool that I help connect. Yeah,
The
yep,
Providences. So anyway.
yep,
Well,
totally.
as you said, because one of the things I'm kind of looking at as I've been doing this for 19 years now.
Yep,
So,
yeah,
and I love it, but and things are growing, and that's why the good news is the business is moving away from me. But
yeah,
does that mean that it's not, I don't want, it's not just in my little world right now. It's just
yep,
going. And I'm like, I want to make sure that I support my team and
yep,
then have an access or a tool for them if they choose to, wherever the heck they are.
yep, yep,
So yeah,
absolutely.
no,
I
that's
love
huge.
that.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect. Thanks.
yeah, of course. Thank you. Any other questions, Jody or Daria? Okay, well, I we kept it short tonight, which is great. And this is my information. Take a picture. I'll send this. I'm gonna send all the slides as well in an email, not tonight because I'm gonna go to bed, but tomorrow I will send an email. And really, truly, my encouragement to you is just to take what you learned tonight, take whatever came to the top of your mind. Don't ignore that because that's what you're thinking about. Take it to heart. Actually, create an action item step to move forward in your business. And yeah, like do the thing. I know it's scary. I know it's so hard, but I encourage you to do it. And I know that we're gonna just keep rocking. The last thing that Jody is gonna drop in the chat is the form to fill out to schedule a one-on-one consultation with me. They're free. I do them for any and all business owners and anyone that wants to be a remote assistant. So my ask for you guys is just that you either forward on this kind of information to someone else in your sphere of business owners and encourage them to delegate. But also, if anybody that you know is, you're like, please just talk to them. Like, go help them. They're struggling. They need help. Like, I will go help them. I will go talk to them. So please feel free to pass me along. I love referrals and we'll take care of our people. So thank you guys for being here tonight.